Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to This Podcast Needs a Bigger Boat. I'm Matt.
That was a bit convoluted, wouldn't you say, Matt?
You're right, Sam, because we're going to need a bigger podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Callum.
I'm Sam.
And welcome. Today's topic, convoluted plot lines.
Oh, what a segue that was.
That was
quite-
very tense.
quite
good,
actually,
wasn't it?
but,
Perhaps
okay.
our best intro to date.
Today.
Some would say.
That's
Or
debatable.
today.
Today.
Definitely today. Yeah.
This might be the first episode for people
Who knows?
out there, you know?
Who
Welcome.
knows?
Welcome.
Welcome, new fan.
Yeah.
Welcome.
All one of you.
Yeah.
Congratulations on making it here.
All three people watching who aren't my family and or friends.
Oh, dear.
Hello.
My girlfriend watches all the way through every time I rate that.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Good for her.
I mean,
Probably has no idea what we're talking about half the time.
shout out to Sal.
Good old
This
Sal.
one's for you.
This one's for you, Sal. Because you're convoluted as fuck.
Whoa.
Hey, just kidding. I love you.
Former girlfriend, Sal. There you go.
Take me back, please.
So, well, I mean, do you want to just dive straight into the convolutedness? I mean,
Yeah,
that intro
The
itself
convolutedness
was very
was
convoluted.
very convoluted. We was
Yeah.
going all over the place then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we really have.
I mean, I'll start if you want.
Sure.
By all means.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a controversial one today, boys.
Ooh.
Carl already knows what I'm going to talk
Yeah.
about. We sort of discussed it a little bit beforehand, but what
Mhm.
I'm going with is the brand new Star Wars trilogy.
Right.
Mind you, the third one
Oh.
isn't out yet,
Yeah.
but I already know it's going to be terrible.
Okay.
Okay.
And I could
Oh, God.
save this topic for another time, but I have to talk about it now because
Okay.
Okay.
everything about it triggers me. The
Oh,
Force
God.
Awakens, to start with,
Mm-hmm.
is literally just A New Hope, just spliced
Remastered.
up. It's remastered.
Right.
Well, no, it's not a remastering. It's a remake because the other week we discussed how a remastering is taking the same thing, not changing it, just making
yeah,
it look
just,
better.
yeah.
This one is literally just changing the order of everything. So that's
Okay.
basically a remake, innit?
Yeah,
when you think
yeah.
about it. But it is the same film, but worse.
Okay.
And
Okay. I'm gonna try and keep.
You're-
I'm being very careful
Yeah.
with my words.
Yeah.
here.
I'm not because I hate them. The Force Awakens was better than The Last Jedi. I'll give it that. And I'll get onto The Last Jedi in a minute.
Oh,
That-
jeez.
Should we just quickly establish how we feel about them? I mean, like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
okay.
like-
I don't really like the new Star Wars films, but I think if you like them, great. That's
Yeah.
great. I'm glad.
Although,
Just please calm
would you
down.
say, with the exception of the spin-off films?
I thought Rogue One was decent.
Mhm.
Wasn't a fan of Solo. Personally.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Me, I really liked Force Awakens.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
can see the
Fair
points
enough,
people
yeah.
make about it being a remake, a rehash, remaster, whatever the hell.
Mhm.
But I still thought it was a good film. It was good. I saw it as a passing of the torch film, which is
Mhm.
why when Last Jedi came around, I was like, no, never mind. You just don't know what you. I think the problem with them is that JJ was involved with the first one, set out the trilogy, and then they booted him to the side,
Yeah.
got Ryan Johnson in. He had a completely different idea to JJ, and then JJ's back again for the third one to try and pick up the pieces. Spin-offs, I think the spin-offs are better than the new trilogy.
Okay.
I loved Rogue One. I thought Solo was criminally underrated as well.
Oh,
not
definitely.
not that it's like fantastic, but
Don't
it
gi-
has
don't
some
give
really.
us that look.
Yeah.
I'm not giving any looks.
For people out there, Callum was just sat there smirking, like, "Oh, I think completely
No, if-
differently.
if I am
think
smirking-
you're
Right.
wrong."
If I'm smirking at you, it means I hate the film you're talking about.
So
Oh,
it's not a perfect film by any means.
Solo.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I get
Mm.
that.
but the Castle Run, even though I didn't want to see it, in the sense that the mystery of it is
Mhm.
fine.
Right.
The way they did it was, for me, really entertaining. Probably the best bit of the film.
See, that's what I like. Okay, so that's what I liked about the film is that they fixed problems with the original trilogy. So they were like, "Oh, I made it in, what was it, 12 parsecs?" And I was like, "That's not a
Yeah.
measurement of time. That's distance."
Yeah.
Okay.
So they explained in the prequel that what they did was they took a shortcut that cuts half the route off,
Yeah.
Okay.
which makes more sense. And it's like, yeah, but is that something to brag about? All he did was nearly commit suicide.
Yeah.
But they tweaked some issues with the original films in that. Callum is
Okay.
still smoking
not-
like
I'm
an
saying
absolute
nothing.
shitbag over there.
Like, I feel like Disney gets a lot of stick for what
Mm.
they've done.
Rightfully so.
People can't, yeah, but at the same time, people kind of forget George didn't know what he was doing with the series.
I know
you know?
George Lucas was terrible.
Yeah. You know?
I mean,
well, he knew
All
exactly
the-
what he was doing, but no one else had a
Yeah.
fucking clue what he was doing.
yeah, but in his defense, I prefer the prequels to the new
Yeah.
So do
trilogy
I.
so far, and I think it's partially to do with we grew up with them.
Mm.
I think that's
That's
a
the
big
thing. That's why,
factor.
like, I mean, we've all heard shit on the prequels, so like that's
Yeah.
why, even though I don't like the new sequels, I'm not going to give anyone shit for
But
liking
but
them.
it's
I think that's
it's
great.
we're literally doing what the old fans are doing.
Yeah, but we're
Yeah.
not actually
They're-
attacking anyone.
Well,
yeah,
no,
the
we-
thing
well,
that's one thing I really don't like.
we're not, but
Yeah,
Oh
well,
no,
that's-
people
the-
do,
have-
which is an issue. Yeah.
So
but that's not
Last
cool.
Jedi, the one who plays Rose,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't
Who
remember.
was
her
an
name.
awful character.
terrible.
But-
not gonna lie, never seen her act before in my life, and I
No.
don't want to again.
Yeah, and
No
okay,
offense,
that's
like-
understandable, but at the same
The
time,
way people treated her was
yeah,
trash.
it's
Yeah,
awful.
that's
That is
horrible.
horrible.
Because it's like she's a human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was written that way, therefore she had to act the way she was written.
Yeah.
If you want to target someone, target the writers. But again, target them
yeah,
and just
don't-
email them and say, "Hi, Bob. I just wanted to say I wasn't very happy with Last
Yeah.
Jedi.
Yeah.
Hope you're having a nice day, but I hate you.
It's general
Fine,
rule
yeah.
of
You know
thumb,
what I
innit?
mean?
Just don't be a dick.
Just don't be a dick, yeah.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
Like the fact they drove her off Twitter is
That's
pretty
horrible.
sad, you know? Like she's probably never gonna want to act again.
Probably not. I mean, well, she'll have to come back now. She's got a binding contract, hasn't she? But
True.
like,
I don't know, man. Like,
well, yeah, well,
was
that's
she
the
trying to
thing. They
walk
might
out
just
of it?
like CGI her in, like they
CGI.
will with every other character.
just CGI her in.
And that's a great segue into what I'm going to talk about now. Actually, Princess Leia,
Mhm.
she
Right.
should be dead.
I mean,
Carrie Fisher's dead.
well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They had a perfect opportunity to kill her off in The Last Jedi.
I
They
think
did.
though-
They did.
But I think
No. But I have an
Okay,
alternate
you go
way
ahead,
the film
but
should have gone.
Okay.
Right.
Why did that random purple-haired woman sacrifice herself as if she was some huge character, like having some huge like epiphany, like, oh, I'm gonna
Okay.
save everyone? That should have been Princess Leia doing that.
But to be
Okay.
fair,
And
I mean,
that would have been her saving a really important group of people to her, carrying on the legacy of old characters who have already died off, and like
Mm-hmm.
saving everyone. I don't care about the whole, oh, she's gonna meet up with Luke now and fucking
Right.
hang about, have a nice chat.
Yeah.
They haven't seen each other for a film and several years anyway. What does it matter?
I feel
I-
like
but-
though, in the defense of this, it was planned as obviously she died after the film
Yes,
was made.
it was after. Yeah.
So it's difficult for them because it's like
Yeah, they couldn't change.
looking back, yeah, we probably could have killed her off type of thing. But at the same time, they had an arc for her.
It. Yeah.
Maybe she
So-
does die in the next one, or maybe they've had to
Aren't
rewrite
they
it.
using like footage from Force
Archive
Awakens?
footage,
or
yeah.
But no, but
and he
what
was-
annoys me more is that she's one of the more boring characters of the new films.
Okay.
She doesn't do anything.
I get that, yeah. But
Yeah,
I feel like
she-
that's in general the entire
I mean,
like original
But
cast.
that was my issue with all the original cast. They were just sort of milling about, doing whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
people were excited when Harrison Ford came back at Force Awakens.
just to
No.
get killed off.
He looked bored. He looked, I don't know.
See that
He
is
may as well have been looking off
and
screen.
that
at a
is
pile
one
of
thing I
money.
will defend about the Force Awakens though, is that I did like the whole Ben Solo
Okay.
like,
That was good,
thing. Like
yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, so he's Han Solo's son. That's quite cool.
yeah.
He's a Force user, proving Leia's partially Force user as well, because
Yeah.
apparently it is genetic as well as it can just
Mm-hmm.
manifest. The stuff I'm annoyed about is the Superman stuff.
Oh, that was awful.
That was
man.
terrible.
One of
That
the
was
worst scenes in
weird.
the
And,
film, if not
you
the
know,
worst
like,
scene.
At that point, I nearly got up and left, and I'm serious. I looked at my mate and went, "Not gonna lie, I might just leave."
Yeah,
And he's like, "No, stick around. It might get better." He was wrong.
Okay.
yeah.
To me, he was wrong. And
Okay.
it bothered me that everyone was like, "Oh no, that's not a thing. Jedi can't do that. They can jump about, but they can't suck themselves out of the vacuum of space back to a spaceship." That's if they could. Several Jedi who have died in the past would have done that. Like
And
Okay.
it's just
Plo Koon died being blown up in a spaceship. He could have just sucked himself away.
Mm.
It was the same level of explosion. The one with Leia was worse. Really,
I think the what makes it worse
that
is
should have
is
killed her
the
on
CGI.
impact. Really.
Like
Okay.
the CGI
Yeah.
just looked really bad in that sequence. I feel like in defense of Last Jedi, there are a few good parts. Have
Yeah,
we
but
discussed this? I swear we've discussed.
I'm not
this.
sure, but
I'm
like
not
what's extremely
yeah.
convoluted is the fact that people who complain about it were like, "Oh, that wasn't a thing in the EU either. So why have you done that?" And Ryan Johnson was like, "Oh no, it's an original thing. This isn't the extended universe. We're done
Yeah.
with that." And then everyone was like, yeah, but you're literally just rehashing the worst stories from the extended universe and making them worse.
Yeah.
And then he's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, whatever, it's my movie. And then everyone was like, well, screw you. And then everybody was quiet for a bit. And then Mark Hamill does this whole, oh, this movie sucks. And then he comes back and he's like, wait, no, the movie's actually great. And then recently he's actually said again, it sucks.
Yeah.
Guy can't make his bloody mind up. It's
Well,
because he knows
no,
it's bad.
The thing is that Mark Hamill, what he said is that he disagreed with Ryan Johnson because he didn't like the arc that Luke went through in that
Yeah.
film.
Yeah, but
which
he has
I completely
recently
agree.
actually said he wasn't actually a fan of the film.
Okay.
Oh,
Like
okay.
literally a
I
month
didn't see
ago,
that.
he said that. There was a bit of a kerfuffle about it.
Yeah.
But then Ryan Johnson then comes out and says, "Oh, by the way, I've been doing some digging around in the extended universe, and it says in a book about Jedi's that they can do that." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you just said that you made that up.
Yeah.
How can you go and defend your original argument by contradicting your own point?"
I feel. Yeah.
And it shows how he doesn't actually know what he did with that film.
Yeah.
And it proves how much of a shit show it is that they have to bring back JJ to fix it. Because not gonna lie, he did set it up well. The
I feel
characters
like-
in the first one were really interesting additions to the universe.
I
But
feel
then
like
the-
honestly, if JJ had been able to do the second one, it would have been a lot better. I feel like people would have
Definitely, because would
enjoyed
be
it a lot
different
better as well.
film.
I mean, it seemed like they were going to go, each one has a different director and see what they can do with that.
Yeah,
But
because
now,
that's what they did with the original trilogy.
yeah. Well, now with J.J. Abrams coming back, I feel like years down the line, assuming J.J. sort of tries to sort of resolve things and maybe go back to some of his original ideas, whatever they may have been, I feel like years down the line, Last Jedi is just going to be this kind of weird anomaly.
Yeah, but what bothers me more is that they're giving Ryan Johnson a trilogy of prequels.
But are they though? Because that's gone really quiet now.
I can't
Yeah,
keep
but so
track
yeah,
of all
but
the
so did
projects
so
they're
did
planning.
the Bounty Hunter TV show for a while that Jon Favreau was doing.
Yeah, yeah.
That went quiet for like
It's got 2 seasons
Six.
now.
Yeah, it's got 2 seasons.
Yeah.
That died for like 6 months and then came out of nowhere again. Everyone's like, "Oh shit, they're actually doing it."
Yeah.
The only one
I
I'm
think
really
they're gonna do
looking
that with
forward
these
to.
films.
Yeah, the only one I'm really looking forward to is the writers of Game of Thrones are
Yeah.
allegedly doing an Old Republic trilogy.
That'll be
wasn't
really
it-
cool. That's what they need to do.
Wasn't it only
100%.
confirmed they're
Scrap the
doing a
films.
trilogy? Like, was it ever confirmed it's Old Republic?
It hasn't been confirmed, but it's been
No, but it's-
heavily
I think that's what
hinted at.
people
Hinted at
want.
extremely.
and
It's been
understandably
hinted
so.
at.
But then
That's
again,
Old
they've come back
Republic.
with a TV show now, and it might mean there is no series of films coming out. I think that's better though,
Yeah.
Okay.
because there is so much in the Old Republic that they can turn into a story, and I don't think it would all fit in a film.
Yeah, I get that.
And I hope that means bringing characters that haven't been like properly like introduced into the canon now, because you have old Sith like Darth Revan and stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be
and all
really
that.
cool.
And do you remember there was that episode of the Clone Wars where Anakin sees visions and shit of old Sith and stuff, and they cut it because
Yeah.
it wouldn't fit in with the story, because the
that
whole
was-
arc was
it was
that
the
he becomes a
son.
Sith beforehand,
Yeah.
but
that
then
was on.
their memories are wiped or some stuff.
Yeah, it was on
like that?
Mortis, where like he sees he's going to become Darth Vader and stuff.
Yeah,
But
that's the
it
one.
was the son. That's literally just his name because it's the father, the daughter, and the son.
And the son, yeah,
I guess he represents the dark side of the Force.
yeah, because the daughter's the
the
light side, and then the father is
keeps him in
just
balance.
keeps the balance.
The son
like
in a
a-
deleted scene is like
a
visited
scale,
by
innit?
Force ghosts of Darth Revan and Darth Bane.
Bane, yeah,
So Bane's the one who invented the rule of 2.
yeah,
um,
which is a dumb rule.
It's kind of cool, except
Well, it's a cool rule,
mean,
except that there
you're
are like
eventually gonna get
6
killed.
Siths just jangling about. Like Darth
Yeah.
Maul is like walking about jangling.
yeah,
his
they
willy
always
about.
like there's only 2, but then he's not. He's just an
He's
assassin.
Oh, he
Uh,
quit.
you know.
He's not allowed.
He's retired.
But yeah, I think
he converted.
George Lucas wanted it cut because like it didn't gel with his idea of the Force. You know, the idea that, and I get what he means, like because the whole thing is Palpatine tries to cheat death, and doesn't realize that by doing what the Jedi do, you can live forever as a Force ghost. So it wouldn't make sense if the Sith could come back as Force ghosts. I
Yeah.
guess.
Okay, I get that.
But like, no, but like, wait. So does that mean that he wanted to get rid of? He couldn't have gotten rid of the rule of two thing though, could he? Because it's mentioned in the prequels anyway, where Yoda tells Darth Maul there can only ever be 2 Sith, the Master and Apprentice, and then
well, he said that to Mace Windu.
Mace Windu. Sorry, I
So,
said Maul by
I mean,
mistake.
at that point-
I was just thinking of
yeah,
Samuel L. Jackson.
at that
and
point
got
in-
really really distracted.
in the film, it seems like it's just Palpatine's the master, Darth Maul's the apprentice, but I don't remember. But isn't the idea that Darth Plagueis was still alive for parts of the events of Phantom Menace?
Supposedly, yeah,
like,
because that's what the
or
Darth
is it
Plagueis
that, like,
book
yeah,
sort of touches
Palpatine
on.
kills him like right before Phantom Menace starts or something?
Yeah,
I don't
supposedly,
know.
something like that.
Yeah,
It's before he becomes Chancellor, definitely. That's
Yeah,
at the
'cause he
end
becomes-
of 1, isn't it?
that's sort of towards like the end of like before the last act. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it'd be really cool if they brought some characters like that back into it through the show and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was gonna mention then as well is the whole messing up of character arcs from the Force Awakens into the Last Jedi. So
Oh,
like,
100%, yeah.
I was really bothered by how they set up Rey and Finn to be this sort of like really close like relationship,
Yeah.
supposedly a romantic
Romantic, yeah.
relationship, and I was
Right.
like, okay, no, that's cool. Like, I kind of, I
can
ship
dig it,
that.
yeah.
I get that completely. There's a chemistry there.
Yeah.
And then they bring Rose in, and I'm like, she's not even been there. She's just someone whose sister died.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, she's just there for the sake of being there. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, Finn's got a relationship with her, and I'm like, well, why?
That's one of my biggest complaints with Last Jedi is Finn was probably my favorite character
Same.
in the entire new trilogy.
So far,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. And they just did him so dirty
Yeah,
in
and
Last
then-
Jedi.
And then, do you know what? Like, it bothered me that, like, at the end of the film, like, everybody meets up, and Rey meets Poe Dameron, and there's, like, a weird, like, thing there where he's like, oh, I've heard a lot about you. And I'm just sitting there thinking, I doubt you have. No
Yeah.
one knew her, like, a week ago. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, don't try and set up some sort of weird romantic relationship where, like, at one point there were people hinting that, oh yeah, I think they're gonna have a gay relationship, and I was like, okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
That was like I understand if you want like
I think
gay
people,
representation
I
in
think
Star
people
Wars and
mistake
whatever.
bromance for romance these days, though.
I feel like it's just a thing now where like two guys talk to each other
And they
they're
can't
like,
just be
they're like, oh my
friends.
god, Poe and Finn are so gay, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't think so. I feel like you're just trying.
It's
Don't
like
get me wrong.
you see a lot of like Kylo Ren Hux like weird like fan art
Yeah.
online, and I'm like, guys can be friends, and they don't have to have
Like,
sex.
I
and
understand
have
that
a
the
the
same goes
relationship.
the other
yeah.
way.
Exactly.
you know,
Two
but
women
then-
don't have to.
Oh no, I just mean like, you know, I mean every film you got like a guy and a girl just because they
Oh, yeah,
they
yeah,
can
yeah,
just that
completely,
doesn't
just
need to be
because they're-
romantic, but
Exactly.
that's a Hollywood thing. You're meant to sort of think that's going to happen. It doesn't have to.
Right,
Yeah.
so like I understand that you want a broad representation in films. You
Yeah.
know, like obviously Star Wars, as far as I'm aware, doesn't have any sort of gay characters.
Not
Not
that
that
I
I
know
can
of.
think
I
of.
mean,
I don't.
I wouldn't be
Surely
su- I
in
wouldn't
the
be-
EU,
Probably in
there's
the
I would be-
got to
extended
be.
universe.
I
yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if Lando swung both ways.
Yeah, fair point.
He
Actually,
seems like an open guy.
What wasn't there a thing about Lando like last year? He's
in episode 9, I don't know that much.
no, there was a thing about like
Was that confirmed?
his relationships or like his sexuality or something.
Well, I mean, he did try and have sex with a robot in Solo.
Hey,
so, I
it might have
mean-
been something to do with that. I can't remember.
But like, what I'm saying is, I understand that maybe you want representation, and you're like, oh, let's try and find it. But this is where I feel like you need to kind of draw the line. It's the same with like Marvel, where everyone's like, Cap and Bucky should be gay together. I'm like, absolutely not.
No.
Like, Captain America had such a strong relationship with Peggy Carter
Yeah.
that for me is the like that, you know, literally he tries to go for a like granddaughter
Yeah. And
to the point where that
and
they're,
then he doesn't,
but it's
because
like
he still loves her.
yeah, exactly. But
Exactly. Like,
it's like the point is that I feel like their families are so interconnected then because of that, you know? And then like obviously he cares for Bucky because he grew up with the guy.
yeah.
But it's like just because they're good friends doesn't mean like, oh yeah, they should be gay. And there was like a petition to get him gay. And I'm like, this is where I draw the line, because it's you need representation. I completely agree with that.
Definitely.
You know, it's you need diverse characters, but being gay shouldn't be a character trait. It should
Exactly.
be
Like, because the thing is, like, even though you do want representation and stuff, you have to respect the comics in some way
Yeah,
as well. Because
exactly.
there are gay characters
Well,
in
I
the
mean-
Marvel universe. It's just that they haven't chosen to introduce any.
so when
so
they
demanding
did
that you
yeah.
turn a character gay for the sake of having that representation isn't an issue with the character. It's an issue with the people that make the films.
Yeah, and 100%. And it's like there's this really like kind of toxic idea where it's like people get annoyed if you kind of shoehorn in a gay character,
Yeah.
but then people also petition to make a character who is predominantly not gay.
Yeah.
It's like there is a way to do it. Iceman in the X-Men, for instance, when he came out as gay in the comics, it was a really big deal, and it worked because if you look back at his like past relationships, he's always been quite like timid and as if he's hiding something.
Mm-hmm.
So when they turn around and go, "Yeah, Iceman's actually gay," it's like, oh my god, that makes so much sense, you know? And not a single person complained about that because it
No,
made
yeah.
sense.
It makes
Okay,
sense.
you're changing the character, but like if you just turned around now and went, "Yeah, Captain America's actually been gay for Bucky the entire time," I'm like, so him wanting to go back to the 40s and still having a picture of Peggy Carter was what? It was like a bit of banter.
Yeah,
you
who
know?
is he? Freddie Mercury, am I right?
Yeah, that's for me. But it's like, I feel like, and that's what I feel like with Star Wars as well, is that people kind of want it to be something that it's not.
Yeah.
Introduce a character, make them gay. Cool beans.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. It needs
If
to
they're
happen.
gay from the off,
Yeah.
fair enough.
But like again, don't make. The problem is that people say you shouldn't make a big deal about it because it should be normal in 2019, and to me, it is. I don't bat an eyelid. I mean, I know loads of people who are bi, gay, lesbian,
Trans, everything.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
But it's like at the same time, like you can't just introduce a character purely to be gay.
Yeah.
That's just as bad.
I feel like that's more offensive. Like, and this is a thing that we discussed about the Oscars the other week, that they sort of feel the need to have a
Yeah.
token black group of people
exactly.
who made a film in the running and possibly win something.
Just so they can be,
Just
hey,
so
we're
they-
not racist.
We're not racist, because
Yeah.
that was an
Mm.
issue, and obviously there are some films that do deserve awards. Like
Yeah.
Spike Lee's made several films that
Oh, well, I mean,
deserve awards.
we watched Do the Right Thing yesterday. Fantastic.
Yeah, and I
film.
watched Clockers the other day.
Yeah,
Great film.
yeah,
And I don't know how that guy hadn't won any awards
it's crazy.
before Black Klansman,
Yeah, 100%.
because it's bizarre that he didn't. But like, it feels like it's also becoming a thing for gay communities now as well, and feminism still is a super prominent thing right now,
Yeah,
but women still aren't getting the real representation they should be
No.
in the form of like
And it's-
filmmakers,
yeah.
possibly.
Yeah.
it's like, it feels like, it's the same with women as well. Instead of writing in these cool, badass or strong female characters, like you had Ripley in the 70s,
Yeah.
Sarah Connor in Terminator, they're going, oh, hey, you know what we should do? We should take this film, completely reboot it, and just put all women in it. How
Mhm.
cool is that going to be? And I'm like, from the get-go, you've already annoyed that original fan base.
Are you referring to Ghostbusters right now?
I'm
Because
not
that's
just
what-
Ghostbusters.
But that's what comes to my mind
Yeah,
straight away.
100%
and it's
though.
a terrible example of a film.
There are some examples where it's worked, but
Mhm.
for the most part, it's just like, why not just have an original? It's the same. They all fit into the same category for me as, like people complain, we need gay characters in films. Yes, we do, 100%.
Definitely.
But at the same time, just shoehorning in the fact that, or like blasting the fact that they're gay onto your screen, is like, that just feels like they're doing it to be like, hey guys, we got a gay character, mind? Do you like us now? We got a gay character. Whereas it should just be like, not an afterthought, that's not the right word, but as in, they should just be gay and it shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah.
And that's when okay, this is a well written character, because the fact that they're gay is
Doesn't
not
matter.
their character.
yeah.
That's just that, you know what I mean? Like, if you're using that as a character trait, that's when you got the problem. Like, why does Captain America need to be gay? Why does he need to be straight? Why do you
And
care
this
about
is
that?
the thing
You know?
that pisses me off about J.K. Rowling as well.
Oh, don't even get me started with that, man.
But it's a perfect example of it, though, innit?
Oh yeah,
Like,
100%.
all that crap she writes on Twitter about,
Yeah.
oh yeah, by the way, they're really gay and they're really aggressive, and it's like, we didn't need to know that. Like, we care
doesn't
about the
add
characters.
anything.
Yeah.
And
Like-
and it's not like, you can't just do that. You can't just go onto a social media platform and go, hey, you know that book I wrote 20 years ago? There's this thing that's not like,
Yeah,
for
like-
instance, she tried making out the Hermione's black,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, and she's like, well, I didn't actually describe it, did I?
No, you
And
did.
I'm like,
There's a bit
you
in the
pretty
book
much did,
where
though,
you
yeah.
did. Yeah.
And it's like,
I mean, the illustrations of her are white
yeah,
in the books. That you can get
Exactly.
the coloured versions of the books.
yeah. And even like, it
It's
doesn't
a little white brunette.
it doesn't explicitly say she's white, I don't think, but
No.
there are bits where it references the fact that she's white.
Yeah.
And then J.K. Rowling's basically people moaned at her because they were like, you have literally no black characters in your book.
And they get killed off when they
Yeah,
do,
and then
like,
she was
the
like,
bar.
what are you talking about? Why isn't Hermione black? Am I right, guys? And I was like, that's just, you shouldn't have said that, because
Yeah.
it's...
Imagine the scenes if she just dropped. Oh, what if Ron was black?
Yeah, no, but
okay, fair enough.
no, but like
But
literally...
like, it's the same thing. Like,
It's gonna be at the point now where she's just gonna claim everyone in Hogwarts was black. I'm not
I'm gay.
racist, ha 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 ha. Yeah, exactly.
black, gay, and trans.
Yeah,
And we're all flying saucers at one point.
yeah, because it's
None
like...
of it, but like it doesn't make sense to just come out of nowhere and just say it
Oh,
for
yeah,
the sake
you
of saying
can't-
it. Like Hal's giving me a look here.
No,
where
no,
he's-
I'm not. You're right. You can't like just add in all these unnecessary details after
Yeah.
the fact on Twitter of all things.
Exactly,
Exactly.
yeah.
It doesn't really add anything.
Like, and it really bothered me where like, so all the films came out. There was a bit of
Yeah.
silence. She came out with that new play version of a book that came
Cursed
out.
Child.
Cursed Child,
Cursed
yeah.
Child, and I was
Oof.
like, okay, yeah, fair enough. It's another book, and then it's just sort of like, oh, and it's not like a subtle hint that, by the way, Dumbledore's gay. It was a full-on Dumbledore's gay, and he wants to fuck Harry.
Yeah,
And
what
I'm like,
the
yeah,
hell,
but
man?
why did you need to tell us that? We don't care.
Yeah.
We want to know about the lore of the universe,
Like,
not
if
what Dumbledore thinks about in his chambers at night. Like,
yeah, like
come
the
on.
lore she's added as well. Like, when you add lore, it's kind of interesting things like, oh, let's learn about the history of Hogwarts, or let's learn
Yeah.
about, like, I don't know, wars that used to happen between wizards and muggles, or let's learn about... It's not let's learn about Dumbledore's sexuality with his arch nemesis.
I want to know if a new Charmander or whatever his name is actually a woman in
Yeah.
with a haircut. You know, it's
And
just
it's
like,
like-
yeah, but we don't
like,
care
yeah,
about
like
that.
the bit where she was like, oh yeah, wizards didn't used to go to toilets, they just shit on the floor. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, what honestly drove you to say that now?
So let's recap here. We've started off with Star Wars having a slightly convoluted plot to what's that, like 20 minutes on some of the most controversial things we could have discussed.
Pretty much.
yeah,
So
but
far.
but we're saying fair things.
Yeah.
So
Well, speaking. Okay, let's
let's move
jump
on.
off the
No,
convoluted
I'm
track
I'm done.
onto
being
okay.
angry.
onto big old hot beers
Oh, okay. All right.
choice.
I'll get off the thin ice roll on and just talk
I don't
about
think we're on thin ice at all.
I
I
don't
think
think
we.
so.
I think
with some
everything we
people
said.
we
I
might
think
be.
no, but I don't think we've said anything that offends a certain group of people. I think
I bloody
we've
hope not.
No, but we've defended each group of people that are
Good.
mentioned. We just
Yeah.
said that it's wrong that they get thrown in the deep end for the sake of being thrown in there.
Yeah, there's representation, and then there's, hey guys, look, I included your minority group in my film. I'm not racist or
Yeah,
sexist. Ha ha
yeah.
ha ha.
It's like that, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it's
I'm in
exact-
full support of having a gay character or a black character
Oh,
or a trans
absolutely,
character.
yeah.
Because why the heck not?
Yeah.
But it shouldn't have to be the focal point of the film.
No.
Yeah.
Unless yeah,
it's,
well,
unless that is
it's
the source
directly
material.
for the narrative,
Mhm.
Yeah.
or if it's source material, or if it's just super important for you to know about the character. Like, if it's like a romantic film, maybe it's about the development of his relationship with someone else or her
Yeah,
relationship
like
with
for
someone.
instance, if you're watching Pride, you know, if the main character is straight, it's like, well, that doesn't really make sense to the source material there. And if
Yeah.
you're, you know, Black Klansman, you know, Ron Stallworth's played by a white man, well, no, that doesn't work because obviously that's the point of the film.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's just a case of representing them where they need to be represented rather than shoehorning it in just to be like, oh hey, I'm not racist, I'm not sexist because I put it in my film. You know?
Right.
Anyway.
Okay. Right.
Al?
So yeah. Oh boy. So for me with convoluted plot, I've gone with Metal Gear Solid.
Ah,
Now-
jeez. Here
Okay,
we go.
here we go.
Feel free to you know, interject or stop me at any time before I, you know, get into you
Yeah, and
know,
that's it. You don't.
my 5-hour
Sam?
part 1
Yeah.
of 500 on Metal Gear. So Metal Gear. I mean, like, just it starts off relatively straightforward. You know, you go back to the MSX games, you know, which is just Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2, and I mean, there's barely any dialogue. It's just you know, Solid Snake infiltrates facility for Big Boss, blows up Metal Gear. Big Boss was the head of the bad guy's fortress. Oh no, he's dead, but he's not.
Plot
End.
twist.
He's, you know, quite
Dun, dun,
straightforward.
dun.
Second one, they've got another facility somewhere else. Big Boss is alive, kill him again. Fine, no issues there, you know. And then you get to Metal Gear Solid. It's like, right, okay, so Snake has a, you know, genetic clone, Also, he's Big Boss's son. This was never established prior to this. So his other clone is called Liquid Snake.
Nice.
He's a blonde British shirtless guy, and he is the
Cute, gassy snake.
he's the inferior clone because he got all the recessive genes, because that's how DNA works.
Right. Yeah.
Except at the end, he's not. He's the dominant clone. He didn't know that, did he?
Ooh.
And then so
Wanker.
the first boss you fight, Revolver Ocelot, who's a 60-year-old man who just really loves spaghetti westerns. So he spins around his revolvers and that. Gets his hand cut off by a cyborg ninja, as often happens.
I mean, it's just standard plot.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's
Yeah.
convoluted about
Also,
this.
the
one.
cyborg ninja is a returning character from the previous 2 games, but don't worry about
What about Sloppy Snake? When does Sloppy Snake come
that. No, there are more snakes,
Ah.
but that was never. I mean,
that's a shame.
if Kojima still had the series, maybe he would.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like okay. Despite
Plasma Snake.
despite this,
Jesus.
yeah,
There was Naked Snake, wasn't there?
yes,
That was the thing.
and Solidus Snake.
Solid Snake, yeah.
And there's just the ones in the Metal Gear Acid games, which are card-based games, but fuck them. So yeah, so that's already a bit weird. So then Revolver Ocelot survives, and then you finish the game, you beat the final boss. Oh, okay, that's pretty fair. And then there's like a phone call with Ocelot, this like terrorist guy who's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm working for the president of the United States. Oh, by the way, the president is also Snake. He's Solidus Snake. Yeah, there's a third clone you didn't know about that.
Right.
End.
Obama Snake.
And then you get into Metal Gear Solid 2, which is just, I mean, Metal Gear Solid 2. It's a deconstruction on the concept of a sequel, and it makes no sense. It's cool, but like you get things like, you just remember, there's a scene where
I just want to point out, we're on Metal Gear Solid 2. We've got another 4 games to go here.
Oh, no,
We're
I'm-
only talking
I'm
about-
already
I'm going to be
confused,
brief.
'cause
I'm not even going to attempt to
Because
explain some of this.
Because the thing is with me is that I've never played them consecutively. I've played them
Oh, okay.
randomly.
Great. This will be perfect.
So
I-
I'm
yeah.
not actually that familiar with the story. I'm
Sweet.
just like, yeah, I'll play the game.
Believe me, I will not
as
even
it comes
attempt to
out.
explain it in full detail because we'll be here all week. But so yeah, the second one, Ocelot. If you remember, I said he lost an arm. So he gets Liquid Snake's arm grafted onto his body, and then Liquid Snake's spirit possesses Ocelot and takes over, and he becomes Liquid Ocelot. And starts speaking with a British accent. So that happens, and then like, I mean, Metal Gear Solid 2, there's just bits like, oh yeah, you go in a hallway and the bisexual vampire who's just killed all of SEAL Team 6, and then once you've accepted that, because what Metal Gear loves to do is go off on these tangents about like random stuff, like when you
Bit
go
like
on
us then, really, isn't it?
oh yeah,
I was
but
gonna
much
say
worse.
Daryl.
Yeah. When you go on a Wikipedia article, it might mention another article, and you can check the other one if you want for a bit more info.
Yeah.
It's like that, visually. Like, you just like Snake says, right, it's like, oh, were you in the military? Fade to black and cut to actual military. Like, oh yeah, I was part of the Army's Force 21. I was like, Force 21? That's about tactical IT deployment, right? It's like, because you know what I'm always saying, I don't have enough of in my games? Tactical IT deployment.
To be
I
fair,
want to know about that.
To be fair, I don't think I've ever seen tactical IT deployment in a game.
neither
So
have I.
they'll
good on
gladly
them for
tell
that.
you all
Yeah.
about it.
Oh, I'm glad of that.
Or like, there's a bit like,
I'm
yeah,
glad
you
that
got,
someone's flying over
Yeah.
to Iraq and dropping off a computer.
or like,
Yeah.
hard drive,
you gotta
You've got to contact people somehow.
you got to defuse some bombs. Like, right, we're going to take 30 minutes explaining to you how the bomb works, how I know the guy who's bombing people, our relationship, why I can't help you. So, guys, they've
Timers are
they've
ticking.
already blown it up.
But what you don't know is that what he actually did in the army was he went to Iraq and trained soldiers with CS:GO. That's
honestly,
what
I'm amazed
tactical
Kojima
IT
didn't
deployment
touch on that.
means.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
But like, and then basically skipping over all of MGS2 because it's so convoluted. It ends with you on top of Federal Hall in New York with a sword fighting your adoptive father, who is also another snake, who also has 2 swords and octopus tentacles that shoot electric blasts. And you kill him. He's the president, by the way, former president,
Hentai samurai snake.
basically.
Mm,
So you
my
kill
favorite.
you kill him.
Sushi.
You kill him, and then Snake just sort of saunters up to you in the middle of the street in Manhattan. She goes, good work, mate. Right, we're gonna go stop this faux British Western guy. See you next game." And then the whole point is they're trying to find the Patriots who control the U.S. government, and then they find out, the Patriots have been dead for 100 years. whoa, and that's just game 2.
So this is just reminding me of a JoJo Part 7 for some reason.
It's probably as confusing, if not more confusing. When MGS3 goes back to 1964, and you play as
Okay.
Big Boss, who is Snake's technical father, clone, whatever, and that's just to reveal how he became a bit of a cock, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then MGS4 supposed to wrap everything up, as if. So like in this one, Snake is old now because accelerated aging. He's well old. He's got a mustache, grey hair, and they have to stop the Patriots. The Patriots are a system of AIs that control every facet of
Did
US
they beat them in a really
life.
big competition called the Super Bowl?
I'm afraid not. And like
Should use
Fuck.
IT deployment to defeat
so he goes to stop Liquid, and like there's this thing called the system that controls everyone through nanomachines.
nanomachines,
Yeah,
son.
nanomachines
Ooh.
do everything in Metal Gear.
And is that IT deployment right there?
It could be tactical
Does
IT
that
deployment.
be?
You know.
Ooh.
It really do
And then
be.
like, so that all happens, and a bunch of characters from previous games show up. Some of them are ninjas, whatever. Every game has a cyborg ninja.
Cyborg ninjas.
And then like, you get to the end, and so Liquid Ocelot, the British guy who was possessed by whatever, that has been retconned now because they realised that was stupid and maybe didn't consult with the American team. He's got a prosthetic arm. He's not really Liquid. He's been using nanomachines to implant Liquid's personality onto himself to fool the Patriots so he could infiltrate and destroy them from the inside. He's been planning this for like 60 years, along with Big Boss and other various people. So all this culminates in a fight between two physically 80-year-old men, both on drugs, on top of a giant warship with a carved Mount Rushmore, but instead of the president's heads, it's the heads of each snake. And they fight, he beats him, and just when you think it's all resolved and he goes to a graveyard to kill himself but doesn't do it, Big Boss from the second game from the 90s shows him and goes, by the way, I'm alive. And then gives you a 40-minute PowerPoint presentation on everything that's happened up until now, and then he dies. End.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just dies.
They made 2 more games after that, but fuck them. I'm already annoyed. So, did any of that make sense?
For the last minute, my brain actually started to ache a little bit, like swelling internally.
Honestly, if you've got a spare few hours, Google retcons in Metal Gear and see the amount of things they changed. It makes no sense.
Do you know what though? Even listening to that, somehow I still think my one is more
Oh,
convoluted.
I know what yours is. Yours is worse. Somehow.
Oh, what have you chosen?
Somehow yours is worse.
I was listening then. I was like, sometimes it feels like you're just making that stuff up.
I could be.
And then I'm like-
who'd be surprised?
But then I'm like, no, it's Kojima, so you clearly
Yeah.
The
know.
Mount Rushmore shit was kind of funny, not gonna lie.
But then
Yeah,
I'm
that
just
was-
thinking
I'm
about
gonna
it.
have to. I'm gonna have to search that. I need to see that.
I think the fan term is Mount Snakemore. I don't know if that's official.
Ah,
but
surely not. I
no.
hope it is actually.
I wish it's official. But yeah.
Jesus.
Right.
There you go.
So I'm gonna. I don't even know how to begin this.
Oh god.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I would like to introduce you to the lovely series of Kingdom Hearts,
Oh
Christ alive.
okay.
which starts off really nice. You know,
Yeah?
Yeah.
basically, director of Final Fantasy goes, "Hey, Walt Disney, you got some cool characters, ain't you?"
Walt Disney was very much alive.
He was very. This is
After being
exactly
cryogenically
He's
frozen.
historically
talking to his
accurate.
frozen
woken
head like,
up,
"Oi,
yeah.
Walt."
This is exactly how it happened. I've looked it all up. This is historically accurate. And he goes, "You got some nice characters there, Walt Disney." Yeah, man. I've worked really hard to get these characters. Mind if I borrow them?
I still
mean-
find that so weird.
I mean, maybe, yeah. Literally, apparently, in an elevator is where they met.
I've
and
heard
he
that.
had
Not
10
Walt
minutes.
Disney though.
No, not Walt.
Not-
I'm
not
only joking.
actually.
So I don't know who it was at the time.
Again, a cryogenically frozen head in an
Yeah.
elevator.
Mate, just quickly, have you heard the theory that the reason Disney made a film called Frozen is so that when you Google Walt Disney
So you
Frozen,
don't
it doesn't
find
come up
that
with
shit.
theories?
That's
Yeah.
so funny if that is true.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
But legit, this is apparently 100% true. Is the director of Final Fantasy, who I can't think of the name,
Mm-hmm.
was in an elevator. He bumped into the president of Disney and was like, in his head, like, shit, I've got 5 minutes until this elevator reaches the top where I can pitch an idea for a game to him. And he just spins round. And imagine just some crazy Japanese director just coming up to you and being like, "Hey, I make these turn-based Japanese strategy games. Can I borrow Donald and Goofy, please? And apparently that's exactly. He had 5 minutes to pitch the idea of
No
Kingdom
Mickey,
Hearts.
just Donald and Goofy.
Yeah, literally just pitched the idea of Kingdom Hearts to him there and then, and they were like, absolutely not. But apparently, I don't know exactly what happened. Apparently, they were sickly intrigued.
Did
And
they
that's-
know that this
Sickly
guy made Final
intrigued.
Fantasy though?
Yeah, he was literally like, "Hey, can I make a game where Disney characters cross over with Final Fantasy?"
Right.
And they were like, "No." But then I think it was to do with the market in Japan wasn't great for Disney, so they
Right,
were like,
okay.
"Oh, this is a great
I would
idea."
imagine it isn't. To be fair,
Yeah.
it's very.
Yeah.
I'm talking a
Western.
little bit out my ass here because I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember, but from what I remember, it's that the market isn't great for Disney in Japan, so they were
Okay.
like, "Wait a second, this is a great idea to get Japanese people into Disney films," you know.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're not going to just want to, if you want to play Winnie the Pooh, you're going to have to know a little bit about Winnie the Pooh, the lore of Winnie the Pooh,
Yeah, of
you
course.
normies. And thus Kingdom Hearts was born, which, great, lovely game,
Yeah.
a little bit weird, but, hey, who cares? Kingdom Hearts 2 comes along, which is the best in the series,
Okay.
and I stand by that statement. But how much coke they did before making that game is still up for debate. Because, just to briefly tell you, it revolves around Sora. There's all these different islands,
Okay.
like planets, I guess, that are connected through darkness and light and whatever.
Right.
Okay.
And they're all disconnected. You can't only certain people can travel in between them. Darkness takes over, and these worlds somehow get connected, and then Sora travels from world to world, freeing them from darkness, and ultimately defeating the main villain, Xehanort.
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts 2 comes along and introduces in between this game. So I'm going to just highlight all the games for you, right?
Right.
In between Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, there was a Game Boy Advance game called
Mhm.
Kingdom Hearts Chains of Memories, which was also released on the PS2, which is a card-based fighting game, and it's
Right.
terrible. One of the worst combat systems ever implemented in a game. There was Kingdom Hearts Recoded for the Nintendo DS, Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts 358 and a half Days, Kingdom Hearts 3, Kingdom Hearts A Fragmented Passage, I'm probably missing a few here, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, which you're thinking, and you're probably thinking to yourself, well, Sam, they're not, you only really need to play Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually what happens. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's reasonable.
it's the main series, and then in between, if you want to get your fix, and you want a little spin-off, check another one out. Absolutely not. Because if you miss any one of those games, which, might I add, were not released on the same console, so to get the full picture at the time, you had to buy a DS, a PSP, a PS2, a 3DS,
God.
Did you say Game Boy Advance as well?
Game Boy
Oh,
Advance.
great.
You'd have to own all those consoles, because otherwise you're not going to get the full story.
Yeah.
And they're all canon.
Oh, brilliant.
So the main villain is Xehanort,
Okay.
who turns out in Kingdom Hearts 2 he's actually Xemnas, who is Xehanort's nobody.
Right.
None of these terms. Hey, you're probably confused.
The fuck's a nobody?
Exactly. What the hell is a
You
nobody?
haven't
Yeah.
mentioned that at all until now.
Yeah. Exactly.
By the way, he is my nobody.
Yeah, exactly that.
Pardon?
Because they just show up and they're like, "Oh my god, it's nobodies," and everyone's like, "Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
that old chestnut."
Like everyone's supposed to know what that means.
Yeah. So the way they eventually explain nobodies is that they're clones created when you get turned to darkness.
Oh, so that's why there's like dark, like weirdly coloured versions of them.
Sort of. So they get split into two. So your
Right.
Heartless creates a nobody or something.
Is that why I've seen pictures of Mickey Mouse in like black robes?
Do you know what? That actually has nothing to do with that.
Honestly,
Oh,
that might just
okay.
be a really creepy Mickey Mouse thing.
So-
Right.
Disney
Oh,
have
no.
made some really weird shit.
So that's to do with Xehanort, who creates Organization 13 based on the nobodies of random people he's collected.
Right.
And Mickey basically infiltrates them by wearing
Mickey infiltrates.
which never made any sense, right? Because
Very
like
covert. No one will notice Mickey Mouse in there.
exactly that, right? Because they're
yeah,
all
that's
like
another thing I forgot to mention. Mickey Snake, is that a thing?
Oh, it will be soon. Kojima's collaborating with Disney now.
But
gonna
it's
get
like,
back
oh,
on now.
so the thing that makes no
Next Kingdom
sense
Hearts-
is that
Hearts
they're
game.
all like 8 foot, and then Mickey Mouse is there, and he's like 2 foot, and you're just looking at it, and you're like, how did anyone not question the fact that the
Yeah.
rest of them are grown like males and females, literally like adults, and then we got a new member today. There he is.
It's a bit on the short side.
Yeah. Why is he like 2 foot? Isn't he
Yeah.
the same size as Mickey Mouse? And he's also got a really
Balls
squeaky voice.
has and dropped. Like, oh, gotta do some evil things.
And then it turns out that the Organization 13 was made to get 13 different versions of Xehanort. So his nobody, his past self who traveled through time,
Okay.
his future self who placed his heart into the body of another character.
Right.
And yeah,
And it's actually Dwarf Mickey.
wouldn't surprise me. And then literally like the spin-off games, which I thought for ages were not canon, are completely canon and are completely necessary. If you go into Kingdom Hearts 3 without playing the spin-offs, you're gonna have no idea. I could
God.
literally sit here for hours trying to explain. I've watched 3 2-hour videos trying to explain the plot, and I still don't fully understand it.
Brilliant.
And that to me is the most like, it's Metal Gear is a solid like close second,
Okay.
but I feel like Kingdom Hearts is just such a
Yeah.
mess.
Like I will say I've made it complicated, but I do think overall I in general understand the plot of Metal Gear.
yeah.
You've attempted to explain Kingdom Hearts to me before, and I haven't the faintest idea.
Well, I mean, I've been playing them since I joined in on 2, which was 2005. I've been playing them
Right,
since
yeah.
then, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point I've played every single game. I could not, even after watching a video, I could barely explain to you what the plot is.
Right.
And it's like some people out there, I feel like, know it at least. I don't think anyone.
Yeah, the guy who fucking made it. Maybe.
Do you know? I don't even think he does.
Oh.
I think you feel like he makes it up as he goes
Do you
along.
think it's another like Iraqi situation where he just forgets shit and
Probably.
just throws
100%.
random crap in?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you think, because like with me, I know given an infinite amount of time and the capacity to answer any questions anyone would have, I could explain the entirety of Metal Gear. Do you think you would be able to do that for Kingdom Hearts, or would you end up confusing yourself?
I feel like I could. I mean, if you gave me like a week, I feel like I could.
But that's the
Prep
thing, though,
work.
innit? You've already watched what 3 2-hour videos and you still don't quite know.
Yeah.
So I feel like I could. Say now you told me, right, you've got a press conference on a week today, and you have to explain to a group of people about the Kingdom Hearts
Which you do with the
series.
presentation as well.
Yeah,
Okay,
I feel like I could do it,
Okay.
but I feel like if they started asking questions, I would have to bullshit a lot.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I feel like I'd have to kind of pull some things out my ass and just be like, oh yeah, that happens because of this. Because there are literal things that happen that make, especially in Kingdom Hearts 3, there are things that happen that make no sense whatsoever. Like, it feels like it was just like, shit, we forgot about this plot thread. Well, now they can come back through the power of teleportation. And I'm like, that wasn't mentioned at all during any of this series. And yeah, and I feel
Jeez.
like on that bombshell, we should stop confusing our audience.
Yeah, I'm
and call it a-
confused.
Yeah, I know. I feel like this was one of our most convoluted podcasts.
Yeah.
That really hurt my brain.
Yeah, it hurt mine, and I feel like I should know it. You know?
I felt my part was just sort of like, haha, yeah, I don't like this franchise
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Your
And then
your
we-
part was just like,
it just
oh, yeah.
gradually got worse.
We come in with
Yeah.
with time travel and tactical IT deployment.
Like
and
I
give it
was
the old-
thinking of talking about JoJo originally, because that'd
Fair.
be something we could all talk about. But then I was like, honestly, I don't want to go too over the top because I can guarantee the other two are gonna talk about something that's gonna fuck my brain up. Really
and I feel
bad.
like I feel like JoJo for the most part has a pretty straightforward.
It does.
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
like
a lot of it just makes
every
no
issue
sense.
is just I forgot. Whereas like
yeah,
with
like
other-
at least that can be explained with him
Yeah.
being just an idiot.
But I
Yeah.
feel like
Iraqis
our
and-
three, like Star
Plonker.
Wars, I agree. Like the plot line is, I think with your one, it's a case of,
them having no clue where to go with
Exactly.
it, rather than not
Yeah.
knowing
a
what
lot
the
of
story
people with
is.
different ideas coming together. Your problem, Callum, is that it's Kojima, and
yeah,
I
and
don't think
he's
anyone.
insane.
Yeah,
He's
he's
absolutely
insane.
insane.
And I feel
The
like
shit
my
he's done
problem
at
is,
Konami is just fucking broken.
yeah,
Well, thank God he's out of there. Yeah.
and I feel
Yeah.
like my problem
Now
is
he's
just the guy just
spending
makes
money.
it up as he goes along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, So
Yeah.
if you think about it, really similar situations
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
just at different
at
stages.
different stages. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Thanks
yeah.
for listening. I
Thank
guess,
you guys
It's been
for putting up with that.
it's been rad.
We may be taking a break, but then again, we're so sporadic with these uploads that
What even
you
is
may,
a break?
You may not even notice
Yeah.
the break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're gonna sort that out. We're gonna try and do at least a week, or if not 2
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
So
This
keep
one
around.
should be coming out soon.
Yeah.
I'm not
And
gonna.
then again,
I'm not gonna give
you
a
say-
certain date.
then
We're
again,
like
though, you
Kojima
say
with
that
Death
'cause-
Stranding. Soon.
Soon.
Eventually.
Soon.
When it's done.
That's gonna
Yeah.
sound really weird then, though, because it's like this will come out soon, but they'll be listening to this when it's out.
Oh yeah.
it's like-
Yeah.
Oh no.
I like
That
that.
was quite convoluted, man.
I like that a bit though.
Well, this will come
What?
out soon.
This will
'Cause
come out
that's
soon.
just for
and
us,
It just sounds,
like-
Yeah. It's just we're just
But
confirming
it sounds like we're talking to the actual audience as we're recording it. So
Yeah.
sometimes I'm thinking that.
I
You know what I
guess.
mean?
I mean, you could say the next one is coming out soon, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't think you
good.
can say this one is coming out soon.
Yeah.
Because
who knows?
to them, they're listening to it
When
now.
soon-
This one's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's out now.
It's here and it exists. Watch it.
Um,
Listen, please.
So
We
next
need
week,
revenue.
or whenever the week
Yeah.
we do it next, will be similar to today's
Oh, no.
controversial opinions,
Yeah.
Oh boy. That's
Fun
gonna be
times.
which is
fun.
going to be fun, I
Yeah.
think. Or we're going to piss
We've
a
been
lot of
very
people off.
controversial today anyway.
We
but-
have, yeah, but I feel like we're going to piss a lot more people off next week,
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
which is the best part, you know.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching. Give a
Thank
like,
you.
give a subscribe, give a comment. Tell your mother, tell your sister,
Yeah.
tell your brother,
Have
tell your
a-
mister,
Have a wonderful Easter. Not
Have
to
a
date
wonderful
it.
Easter.
Yeah.
Tell the Prime Minister.
tell the Prime Minister,
Yeah.
sort Brexit out, eat
Yeah.
some chocolate, you know.
Yeah.
We want to get out of the. We want to get back into the EU.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Oh no.
The
we're not jumping
extended
in this.
universe. Whoa!
Yeah,
Christ
let's get out here
Right,
before
yeah,
we
let's
get
get
good night,
political.
guys.
Come on.
See ya.